How did Nickelodeon's prodigal daughter go from singing, acting, and cracking jokes on talk shows to walking nude in the streets of LA during an alleged psychotic episode? It's clear Amanda Bynes is lost, except it's not all her fault. When we take a look at Amanda's environment growing up, it is clear that adults exploited her to no end, including her own parents. There is a routine pattern of behavior for most parents of Hollywood stars that leads to unavoidable trauma, which often manifests years down the line, dehumanizing their own children in order to live vicariously through their talents for, you guessed it, money. If that wasn't enough, Hollywood has proven itself to be a factory of child abuse, with deranged individuals who prey on innocent children. Amanda was fortunate enough to have a natural ability to act, but was emotionally and financially drained by her parents, Nickelodeon, and possibly convicted pedophiles. To be clear, not everyone was scandalous. The majority at Nickelodeon were probably hardworking people who just wanted to entertain. Yet, a small fraction lurk in the shadows, in hopes of one day gratifying their own repulsive needs. Undoubtedly, this leaves a mark on people, to the point where they don't even want anyone knowing it took place, for the sake of their reputation or future career. Amanda Bynes was born in Thousand Oaks, California, and was the youngest of 3 children, to Rick Bynes, a dentist, and Lynn Organ, a dental assistant. Amanda has claimed to maintain a close and loving relationship with her parents. However, once she showed promise of becoming a star at the age of 3, they began to manage her career. It's insane putting the word career and 3-year-old in the same sentence. From the contracts she would sign to the millions she would earn, they had their hands in all of it. They probably thought their daughter's success would equal her happiness, which it may have done, if only for a moment. Their dreams of stardom and wealth lay in the palm of Amanda's hands. She was energetic, had an insane work ethic, and comedic timing that was extremely rare for a child star. The Bynes already lived in California, so it was only a matter of time before they bumped into the right guy. You may laugh, but this is a phenomenon unique to California, especially Los Angeles. Perhaps this is why LA is stereotyped as fake, because society operates by who you know, not what you know.
Spoiler alert, season 2 is on the way, so in the end, he obviously didn't kill himself. Just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up! I know he's your friend, but I don't care.
Nonetheless, Amanda acted on stage in versions of Annie, The Secret Garden, and Sound of Music, though her professional acting career began at the age of 7, appearing in a television advertisement for Bunch of Crunch candies. Amanda's father was fond of comedy and would perform improv himself, so he decided to send her to Los Angeles Laugh Factory. This camp wasn't just for Amanda and other children to enjoy comedy. It was a place producers and executives could go and scout talent for upcoming projects in the entertainment industry. At a graduation event, Amanda bumped into the infamous Nickelodeon producer Dan Schneider.
My parents are always bugging me to slow down. Take it easy. Take a breather. Hang loose. Chill out. Take a break. Heck, why would I want to take a break at home? That's what I go to school for.
The Nickelodeon producers saw natural talent in young Amanda, so much so that they even cast her in their hit show, All That, which can be described as SNL featuring teens and tweens, was Amanda's favorite show at the time, so it was a dream come true. Amanda appeared from the 3rd season to its 6th season, as producers began to see more than just a minor role for the budding actress. Her role in All That would pale in comparison to the deal she was about to receive. The Amanda Show. Running from 1999 to 2002, this breakout show was modeled after the Carol Burnett Show, and highlighted Amanda's eccentric personality and knack for comedy. Due to her legendary performance, she would go on to win 5 Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice Awards. Unfortunately for Amanda, Starring in these popular shows meant she had to spend more time around Dan Schneider. Besides her parents manufacturing her success, she had Dan as a mentor during her time at Nickelodeon. Amanda managed to move on to other work besides Nickelodeon with appearances on The Drew Carey Show and The Nightmare Room. Her growing career even earned her a spot on the big screen, starring in What a Girl Wants and Big Fat Liar, which Dan Schneider directed. Besides romantic comedies, she played the voice of Piper in Robots.
By the way, the name's Piper. Rhymes with Viper. See you around.
And even came back to Nickelodeon to voice Taffy on the Rugrats. She had been set up to star in an upcoming 2011 film named Hall Pass, but walked off the set citing her insecurities and drug addiction. An old quote from Amanda reads, "When I was doing Hall Pass, I remember being in the trailer, and I used to chew the Adderall tablets because I thought they made me more high. I remember chewing on a bunch of them and literally being scatterbrained and not being able to focus on my lines or memorize them for that matter. I remember seeing my image on the screen and literally tripping out and thinking my arm looked so fat because it was in the foreground or whatever. And I remember rushing off set and thinking, oh my god, I look so bad." Amanda, admitting to using Adderall as a young adult, may have been what sparked rumors of her being given pills as a child. In spite of that, her main purpose in life at the time was to entertain. Yet, in a statement from a now deleted Instagram account, she stated, "Being an actress isn't as fun as it may seem. If I don't love something anymore, I stop doing it. I don't love acting anymore, so I've stopped doing it. I know 24 is a young age to retire, but you heard it here first." Around the time Big Fat Liar was finished, back in 2003, at the age of 17, Amanda had sought legal emancipation from her parents behind their backs. Once her parents found out, they fired Talon Robbins, Amanda's manager at the time, as well as her attorneys, for concealing Amanda's plot. Dan Schneider's wife is even quoted as saying, "Amanda spent a lot of time with us, presumably as a brief respite from her overbearing parents." In Amanda's appearance on The Tonight Show, she credited her father with her success in comedy, but claims, "My parents actually were very strict. I was never allowed to go to the mall alone or with my friends. But as you can see, that's where I got my love of comedy, from my funny dad." I'm not sure if hanging around the Schneider home was the right choice, but it may have been the only outlet available to Amanda at the time. After all, Dan probably had no problem with it. Daniel the Foot Schneider believes he never crossed any lines, but 14,000 deleted foot fetish tweets, among other deplorable acts, say otherwise. The best example we have is Jeanette McCurdy, longtime actress of Nickelodeon, who was quoted as saying, "I don't want to look sexual, I want to look like a child." Nickelodeon had offered her $300,000 as a proverbial thank you for her one season of Sam and Cat, but this was in fact hush money regarding Schneider's behavior. In her memoir, she states she refused to take it. Rumors of verbal abuse and having actors massage his neck and shoulders have plagued the internet for years, but with his refusal to comment and a vow of silence around the topic, it's a dead end. If there's anything Dan is truly guilty of, it's writing children's shows with minors depicting fetishized sick jokes for his own fulfillment. If you're wondering what happened to Dan after all was said and done, in 2018, while embroiled in numerous disputes covering verbal abuse and hypersexualization, Dan was paid the remaining $7 million of his contract and left the network. In order to understand the environment that Amanda Bynes was surrounded by, it's important to set the tone of Nickelodeon during the late 90s and early 2000s. Despite being the mecca of kids' entertainment, there was a dark cloud of degeneracy looming over the company, a seemingly systemic ring of child predation coined the Creep Club, called the shots at the network. Dan Schneider may have never been convicted for his alleged behavior within the entertainment industry, but Nickelodeon had a handful of criminals abusing children behind closed doors, or, as one child star later called it, the Orange Curtain. However, Dan most certainly belongs in the club, because he's a creep. as does Nickelodeon producer, actor, and director Brian Peck, convicted in 2004 of lewd acts against a child, as well as oral copulation of a person under 16. Internet rumors speculated that the minor in question was Drake Bell. It should be noted that Schneider and Peck jointly ran a children's comedy boot camp in an effort to recruit new talent for Nickelodeon. According to the article, Groomed to Be All That by the Los Angeles Times, this is where child actress Lisa Foyles received her role for All That. It's even noted under the trivia tab on Brian Peck's IMDb. The following message reads, in 2004, he pleaded no contest to charges of committing a lewd act against a child under 14 and oral copulation of a person named Drake Bell under 16. He was convicted and received a sentence of 16 months and was ordered to register as a sex offender. Over the years, Drake Bell has hinted at Nickelodeon predation by tweeting cryptic messages like, "You want the real truth about what went on behind the orange curtain? You want the stories that will crush an entire network? Give me a call." People have a hard time taking anything Drake Bell says with any integrity, as he himself pled guilty to felony child endangerment. If Drake Bell's alleged abuser was Brian Peck, he wasn't the only one to be exploited. Brian had worked with Amanda Bynes on All That and the Sprouse twins from Sweet Life. With years of work surrounding child actors, it's no wonder Los Angeles detectives believe there were more victims who chose not to come forward. Instead of rotting in a trailer park hovel with the rest of America's pedophiles after prison, Peck was offered a second chance by his old friend Charlie Sheen. Strangely enough, he's continued acting and coaching, even though he most likely isn't allowed near anyone younger than 18. Something tells me he can't help himself and loves to linger in settings involving children, securing a role as a narrator for Nat Geo Kids' Animal Showdown and a sex ed teacher in Queerantine.
I think I know what this is. Well, first of all, who are you? I'm the sex ed teacher. I've read about this happening in other places. Look, it can't be stopped. It's horrible. It's like a plague. Our school has been contaminated with the gay.
Based off of Peck's IMDb, he's struggling to find a substantial role or anything long-lasting. You'd think he would be ousted entirely from Hollywood, but maybe they all share something in common. After Brian Peck, there was Ezel Chanel, an already convicted sex offender who had been working as a freelancer at Nickelodeon on Adam Sandler's film 8 Crazy Nights. Why is an already convicted sex offender allowed to work at Nickelodeon? Were they short-staffed? Anyway, Ezel only worked at Nickelodeon Studios for a couple of months in 2005, before an incident took place on Nickelodeon's property. You can read the disturbing case text for yourself, but Ezel essentially showed children pornography and was later accused and eventually convicted of committing lewd acts upon a 14-year-old boy. Remember, according to the case text, most of these incidents took place at Nickelodeon Studios. This was more than just unacceptable. It was almost as if predation was encouraged or propagated. Next is Marty Weiss, Los Angeles talent manager, convicted in 2012, pled no contest to 2 charges of oral copulation with a minor. Jason Handy, production assistant for All That and The Amanda Show, convicted of lewd or lascivious act with a child under 14. Justin Taylor Smith, a post-production editor at Nickelodeon, who was caught by none other than a predator's worst nightmare. Chris Hansen. Joby Hart, a manager at Hot Rock Media in Los Angeles, stands accused of abusing former Disney Channel star Ricky Garcia from the age of 12. The list goes on, including allegations against Ren and Stimpy creator John Kricfalusi and Nickelodeon's Loud House creator Chris Savino. These are just the adults that got caught. It's not out of the realm of possibility that there were more child predators who got away with crimes. If Amanda wasn't in the presence of convicted pedophiles, an anonymous Twitter user named Obscure Nick alleges she was given Adderall as a child so that she would be hyper during scenes. There is no way to verify the validity of this story, but it seems plausible given her energy and behavior on camera.
You know what? You'll never have to drink coffee, you know that. Yeah, I don't.
I know.
I drink enough Coca-Cola. I love Coke.
Really?
Yeah.
You've got that caffeine kind of feel.
Exactly. They made a rule for me that I can't have Coke after 3 o'clock, you know, like the cast members.
I can see why.
YouTube comments seem to agree with this notion. However, once again, this is too speculative. What we do know is that the environment Amanda Bynes was thrown into made her hate the very thing that she did best. In 2010, after the release of her last film, Easy A, Amanda decided to quit acting altogether. Without a job in the entertainment industry, Amanda quickly fell prey to various vices. In April of 2012, Amanda was arrested for driving under the influence in West Hollywood. According to the report, she was pulled over after hitting a stationary police car and refused to take a breathalyzer test to determine whether or not she was intoxicated. Less than 5 days later, Amanda was accused of hitting another car on the 101 freeway in the San Fernando Valley and fleeing the scene. At the time, she thought it best to tweet at President Obama, pleading her case, saying, "Hey, at Barack Obama, I don't drink. Please fire the cop who arrested me. I also don't hit and run." The end. Tweets like these would begin to raise the eyebrows of her fans. Was Amanda okay, or was this just an innocent joke? A couple of months after her tweet, she rear-ended a woman sitting in her car on Ventura Boulevard and subsequently started a fire in a California house driveway using a piece of cloth and a gasoline tank. A neighbor rushed to her aid while she decided to leave the scene, walking with her dog, who was covered in gasoline, to a nearby liquor store. She actually ended up finding a cab, but didn't get very far from the Ventura County Police, who detained her and took her to a local hospital for a mental health evaluation. She was rather lucky to escape without a criminal investigation, but these incidents weren't exclusive to the West Coast. In New York City, while she had ongoing hit-and-run cases, Amanda allegedly threw a bong out of her Times Square apartment window and locked herself in a cupcake store. The bong incident in New York was actually dropped following the fact that authorities never found the bong in question. At the time, Amanda also fervently denied a story of her walking naked in a tanning salon and threatened to sue In Touch magazine, stating, "I'm not troubled. I don't get naked in public. I'm 26, a multimillionaire, retired. Please respect my privacy." Following Amanda's public outbursts, her parents deemed that she was a threat to herself and those around her. Amanda's parents made a tough decision to file for a conservatorship in 2012, as Amanda was deemed unfit to make decisions for herself. The following year, the conservatorship was granted by a LA judge. At the age of 27, Amanda was given a weekly allowance of her own money and would be under strict watch from her mother and father. It should be said that you should never assume the state of someone's mental health or diagnosis, but you can't stop the internet from jumping to conclusions. In 2014, rumors circulated about Amanda Bynes suffering from schizophrenia and bipolar affective disorder. She later confirmed it herself on Twitter, claiming she was diagnosed. However, her lawyer stated the contrary. Amanda is currently on 0 medication. She's devoted to living her life as healthy as possible. She's never had a history of abusing alcohol or hard drugs, and she's proud to say she's been marijuana-free for the past 9 months. Perhaps this was her lawyer doing her job and trying to control the narrative. After all, tabloids were running with every article relating to Amanda Bynes, which reinforces the inescapable toxic nature of celebrity worship. The speculation stemmed from her erratic behavior and incoherent rants on Twitter. The lines are further blurred by Amanda stating that it's not her tweeting and that her accounts are hacked. One account, named Persian LA 27, was believed to be Amanda Bynes' secret Twitter account by a good majority of the internet, when in reality, it's just some freak begging for money. To some conspiracy theorists, this secret Twitter account was a bastion of hope for getting Amanda help. But upon further investigation, it's simply not true. First, there's a link to a Cash App in the account's bio, which should be immediately suspect. Then, the user, Persian LA27, claims Amanda's parents run her original Twitter account at Amanda Bynes because her conservatorship prevented her from interacting on social media without their direct supervision. The imposter account also posted Amanda Bynes' driver's license and personal pictures in order to garner credibility. In reality, it was just a troglodyte swindling people for money by abusing Amanda's star power, deluding unsuspecting fans into thinking they could be the one to save her. Somehow, people believed Amanda Bynes needed money sent to her Cash App, or she couldn't pay for a public bus. In February of 2017, Amanda Bynes tweeted from her actual Twitter account saying that she is in fact not Persian LA27. I repeat, I am not Persian LA27. She got into my private Instagram somehow and took all my photos and videos. I have asked repeatedly. This person continues to impersonate and harass me, and Twitter needs to take the account down. I am not Persian LA27, I am not getting married, and I am not pregnant. I really wish Twitter would take the account in question down. I'm not sure why they are refusing to do so. Perhaps it was because the user asserted that her name was Ashley Banks, not Amanda Bynes, conveniently skirting impersonation guidelines on Twitter. Or they just don't care. And they still don't, because as of March 24th, 2023, the private account is still active on Twitter. As of 1 month ago, a subreddit was created in order to bring awareness to the scam account. Taking advantage of a celebrity's mental illness for money is sadly not even considered that low on the internet. While under the conservatorship due to her spree of criminal behavior, Amanda received a wake-up call in 2014 when she was convicted of reckless driving and sentenced to 3 years of probation with 3 months of alcohol education classes as part of her plea deal. On her actual Twitter account at Amanda Bynes, she would tweet increasingly strange messages. My dad was verbally and physically abusive to me as a child. I need to tell the truth about my dad. He called me ugly as a child and then asked me if I wanted to have sex with him. And I did not know how to respond, and I said no, and then I was forced to live with my dad, which was a total nightmare. My dad fondled himself in front of me so many times that I started recording him on my phone in hopes of catching him, saying or doing something inappropriate around me so I could get him arrested and put in jail for the rest of his perverted life. My mom knows that my father's literally and physically incestual towards his own daughter, and the fact that she never called the police on him embarrasses me to no end. So today, I am meeting with a lawyer to get a restraining order against my dad. I cannot hear the sound of his incestually charged voice ever again. And I'm just being honest. I will not be manipulated or brainwashed by anyone anymore. So let me live my own life free of unhappiness and misery. So call me what you want, but please do not call me crazy or insane, because that's a joke. Hours later, she tweeted, "My dad never did any of those things. The microchip in my brain made me say those things, but he's the one that ordered them to microchip me." Amanda's tweets and social media presence only worsened over the years. This behavior is unexplainable unless we accept the fact that she's not in the right state of mind. However, through all of this, Amanda found a light at the end of the tunnel. That light being a new career as a fashion designer, something she had believed in since she was a kid.
Well, I want to be like a fashion designer. I love to draw like girls. I don't really draw guys. So, I did something special for you. Wow. It's hard. I was going to put you like in a little tutu or something, but
Really?
No, I wasn't going to.
Is that what the picture on the internet had?
No.
Oh.
No.
Wow, I didn't know there was a camera there.
Yeah.
When that was happening.
No.
No.
Yeah,
now
you
draw women, you draw fashion?
Yeah, I like brought you a few pictures like
you did?
show.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is like a girl. I don't know if you want to like.
Can you see this? Can David's camera see this? Oh wow, and over.
And then I drew this Sally Field.
That's Sally Field. Wow. So these
and
are.
I have like a few more.
Is this what you want to pursue? You want to actually design clothes?
Yeah, well, I think so. That'd be cool. Like Amanda Laura Ware or something. That's my middle name.
That would.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Amanda was advised against her decision, but enrolled at FIDM, or the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising, in 2016. Her behavior landed her in more problems, as she was caught cheating on tests, paying classmates to complete her homework, and skipping class. When she did show up, she was allegedly high or drunk, but somehow, after 5 long years, she managed to graduate from FIDM. The rumors, allegations, and scandals were far from over, but at least for now, Amanda had a degree, which would allow her to find new employment and establish new meaning to a chaotic life. One of the biggest tragedies regarding Amanda Bynes is the slew of false information tied to her name online. It's necessary to sift through the muck to separate fact from fiction so that she can recover properly, instead of using her name for self-gain like everyone has done to her throughout her entire life. When conducting research on Amanda Bynes and Hollywood controversy, you're bound to fall down a strange rabbit hole. If you dig deep enough, one name keeps reoccurring: NT Lawyer, the author of Crazy Days and Nights, or CDAN. The website was founded in 2006 and postured itself as an authority of celebrity gossip and salacious industry secrets. It would post thousands of blind items up until this day. A blind item is defined as a news story, typically in a gossip column, in which the details of the matter are reported while the identities of the people involved are not revealed. According to his Twitter, he self-describes himself as a 300-pound entertainment lawyer who has been married 6 times, lives in his parents' basement, and has an obsession with digging up celebrity dirt. What you don't know is NT Lawyer is a lonely man from Missouri named Emmett McAuliffe, who constantly lies in his blogs to the degree that he has fooled a majority of the internet into believing hoaxes and rumors about Hollywood elite. His entire website is a shitpost. He has sprung rumors about Dan Schneider getting Amanda Bynes pregnant when she was young, that she had to get an abortion, which left her unable to have children. This is referring to the blind item on Tuesday, March 27th, 2018. Blind item number 13. Her words. Last night, after the news broke about a certain producer, an actress all of you know, who knows the producer, as well as anyone, sent me this. Thank you for all of your ongoing support. I don't know how any of these men sleep at night, but if there's one thing that I do know, it's that what's done in the dark always comes to light. XOXO. Sorry, I thought it was clever. Unfortunately, I will obviously not be making any comment whatsoever, for obvious reasons. And unfortunately, I feel as though the only way that legitimate stories can make the headlines regarding is if others publicly speak on his behavior. Blank was truly like a second father to me. But things changed. After the second incident, I don't know if I will ever be able to have children or the family of my dreams. People have been picking this scab for years. I just won't be the one who finally rips it off. The cryptic message utilizes capital letters to spell out the message, Dan did it. NT wasn't alone. He had commenters like him who would mold a digital footprint that, when followed, would lead viewers to believe it was Robert Downey Jr. Him turned out to be Tally Griffith, a man who killed himself in 2019. Tally Griffith was a screenwriter at one point and would role play as a connected Hollywood insider. Were they friends in real life, or did they just enjoy each other's antics on Crazy Days and Nights? Doesn't really matter. Other hoaxes perpetuated by this website include Cindy Crawford and her husband, Randy Gerber, trafficked their daughter, Kaya, through the modeling world as a youth, and that Hayden Panettiere was an escort and abused by her father. NT is a nobody lawyer with zero connections to Hollywood that grifts a deranged fan base. He himself ran into legal trouble in late 2022 when Diana Jenkins, a member of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, sued him for defamation. NT issued a slap countersuit which essentially identifies the case as a method of censoring him and threatening him with a substantial legal burden. NT's lawyer claims that, quote, he has a reputation for getting some things wrong. His tone is informal, snarky, and salacious, and lacks indicia of reliability. All of these factors combine to make readers much more likely to perceive his statements as salacious hyperbole and overheated rhetoric rather than provable, literal fact. Sounds like a major cope. As of today, there is a hearing scheduled for April 12th. It should be noted that if your job is to gossip about Hollywood for a living, odds are you'll get something right. You may be wondering, why go through all of this trouble? If we factor in the dizzying amount of ads on the site, the fact that it has been up since 2006, and the Patreon with nearly 3,000 members, it is estimated he makes more than $20,000 a month shitposting about fake celebrity gossip and hides behind freedom of speech despite tarnishing people's reputations. Which is why today's video is sponsored by myself. If you'd like to support these videos, consider signing up to our Patreon. By no means do you have to sign up, but this page will allow us to scale the channel, take on bigger projects, and operate without deadlines and censorship. When you sign up, you'll get access to our private Discord community where you can suggest topics that need looking into, converse with each other, and get a behind-the-scenes look into Third Eye Global. With that being said, I'll see you there. And if I don't, his problematic stories seep into the annals of forums and social media, which perpetuate a fire hose of fraudulent information about celebrities. It all makes sense. He doesn't care about the truth. He cares about money. All of this to say, we can't take anything he says about Amanda Bynes and Dan Schneider seriously, including these posts which were supposed to be Amanda talking. Amanda's conservatorship had two parts, personal and estate. The conservatorship of the estate was terminated in 2017, and her assets were moved into a trust, with her father as the trustee. Her mother was left in charge of her medical and personal affairs, which lasted a total of 9 years. Foregoing all the fake stories and rumors, Amanda cannot seem to stay clear of controversy. In 2018, Amanda seemed to be making a turnaround as there was a level of self-awareness. In her famous campaign with Paper Magazine, she stated, "I'm really ashamed and embarrassed with the things I said. I can't turn back time, but if I could, I would. And I'm so sorry to whoever I hurt and whoever I lied about, because it truly eats away at me. It makes me feel so horrible and sick to my stomach and sad. Everything I worked my whole life to achieve, I kind of ruined it all through Twitter. It's definitely not Twitter's fault. It's my own fault." In 2019, Amanda Bynes suffered a relapse and sought treatment at a sober living facility. It was around this time where she would get a permanent face tattoo of a heart on her cheek. During an Alcohol Anonymous meeting, she met another recovering addict named Paul Michael. The two were engaged within a matter of months in early 2020. On March 17th of that year, Amanda posted ultrasound pictures to Instagram, indicating that she was pregnant. The caption stated, "Baby on board." Her lawyer later denied this claim, and the post was removed. Additionally, her social media activity as an adult gives viewers a look inside her not-so-personal life.
Paul told me that he stopped taking his medications. I looked at his phone and he was looking at mom and son porn. He vandalized his mom's home. He broke all of her pictures and put salmon under her bed. His behavior is alarming, and I'm afraid of what he'll do. I forgot to mention, I found Paul's stash of crack cocaine. He's been using for the past 6 months. He needs serious help. I kicked him out of my house. Correction. Paul looked up MILFs. Moms and sons just popped up. Also, I went to CVS, bought a drug test. Paul tested clean. Paul's clean. Also, I had something in my teeth in the last.
In 2022, Amanda Bynes requested an end to her personal conservatorship, and this time her parents did not object. She also decided to pursue a new career as a manicurist and enrolled in cosmetology school, but has not finished her education due to current unfolding events. Most recently, on Sunday, March 19th of this year, Amanda was found walking the streets of Los Angeles nude. She called the cops on herself, flagged down a car, and explained that she was coming down from a psychotic episode. A couple of days prior, TikToker Caitlin Hotfox stumbled upon Amanda Bynes walking around the city at night on St. Patrick's Day. She had recognized Bynes by her face tattoo. Caitlin stated in her caption, "Happy she's getting the help she needs. She was sweet. I gave her some money and talked. Sometimes people just need somebody to talk to." Amanda was placed on a 5150, which in the state of California is a 72-hour involuntary psychiatric hold, which can be extended. Paul Michael, her now ex-fiance, stated that she had been allegedly off her meds. As of today, the story of Amanda Bynes is not over, and she remains under psychiatric supervision. The issue of abuse in Hollywood has been a topic of concern for many years. Factors including power imbalance, a culture of silence, and a lack of accountability for those in high places contribute to the prevalence of abuse, especially towards young children. This recipe for perpetual trauma is combined with a historically competitive and hierarchical environment with aspiring actors, writers, and directors willing to do whatever it takes to get ahead. As a young Hollywood star, you're treated as a cash cow instead of a child. The money may satisfy your needs and wants, but if that means working with convicted pedophiles and forfeiting your childhood only to suffer immensely as an adult, it's not worth it. If you're a child actor with promise of making it big, you don't even have a choice when even your parents, who are supposed to look after you, may push you towards a road of lifelong misery. You can't even legally consent, yet all of your major life choices are being made for you in the blink of an eye. For some, the Me Too movement uprooted vile criminals, yet the very system that breeds them still persists. Hopefully, Amanda can recover and one day carry out her desire to finish school or act once again. At this point, it comes down to Amanda establishing a sense of self-agency, led by the guidance and support from others who have her best interest in mind. Far from greedy contractors, far from guilty creeps, far from being lost.